Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for the relaunch of Business Over Brunch Podcast. I am super excited, and I'm so happy that you could join me today. Today, we're doing things a little bit different. So, we are talking about business over brunch, I thought we should actually talk business while we cook brunch. So, joining us today will be Chef Teshia, who is the owner of Chef Teshia Cooking with Chef Teshia, based here in Charlotte. So, Teshia, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Shakeema. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, so this was kind of your idea. So I definitely want to make sure I bring you along for the ride. So before we start cooking, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I am Chef Teshia. I am actually a Charlotte native. You don't hear that often, but I am a Charlotte native. I initially started here in Charlotte with Rabbit Food Charlotte, where I focused on more health and wellness. And once the pandemic hit, I kind of had to make a shift, as we all did. So now I'm focusing on private dining, catering, and meal prep. That's just me in a nutshell. I run a nonprofit
Awesome.
here also.
Tell us about your nonprofit.
So my nonprofit is Queendom Outreach Center, and I focus on physical health, mental health, and financial security for people in deprived communities.
Awesome. So I have been a customer of Rapid Food Charlotte. I'm definitely going to miss those salads, but I've also been a customer of the meal prep service, and it's absolutely amazing. I love the fact that you give different options for those of us who do not eat, beef and chicken. The pescatarian options are great. I tasted zucchini noodles for the first time and absolutely love them. So I'll be subscribing again to that service. Definitely spending some time. So tell us what we're going to be cooking today.
So today we are going to be making shrimp and grits with a twist. So we're going to do jerk shrimp and grits. So it gets you a little of the spice. And then we're also going to have a cocktail because it wouldn't be brunch without a cocktail.
Absolutely. I'm so glad things are opening back up because I miss going out to brunch, whether it just be with friends or a networking opportunity. Mimosas on deck. So let's go ahead and get started. Tell us what we need to start first, and then we're going to bring on my friend Lavonndra Johnson, who's going to be talking to us about the beauty business. So let's get started cooking.
So before we hop right into the drink, I think that we're going to go ahead and get the water and everything going for the grits. So what I've done is I've started to boil a half a cup of chicken broth and a cup of water. And we're going to bring that to a boil. And then we're going to go ahead and start cooking our grits as you normally would. Just keep them stirred so they don't stick. And then we can all do the drink cocktail together really fast just to give you ladies something to sip on while you do your interview with our other guests.
Awesome. I'm always down for a good drink. What do we need to do?
So the recipe called for fresh strawberries. We're just going to cut up about two or three of them, depending on how many people. Perfect. And then we're going to pop open this top. Please forgive me because I hate doing this. And this is a bottle of Prosecco. I think we got the same one, Kima.
Yes, we might.
And so that's always a good sign for brunch. So we're gonna put our strawberries in a cup or bowl, and we're just going to mash them so we get the juice from the strawberries and a good freshness also. And you can take a fork, a masher, whatever you have, and just mash to get the juice.
Probably should have cut mine a little bit smaller.
A little smaller. Yeah, that helps sometimes. So we're just gonna keep mashing that there.
So as we're doing this, if you are following along and cooking with us, please make sure you leave us some comments. Also, please make sure that you tag us in your post once you're done with your meal. We have a wonderful gift box that all of our guests are going to receive this season for the return season. But somebody who cooked with us today is also going to win that gift box. And it has some interesting items in it, which we'll talk about just a little bit later.
And keep in mind when mashing the strawberries, you can leave it a little whole. You're really just mashing to get enough of the strawberry juice. I actually like having the strawberries in mine also.
Yeah, I should have cut these up a little bit more, but it's okay. Still going to be a good cocktail.
Yes. So once you got those finely mashed or mashed to your liking for the juice, you're just gonna add a little pineapple juice, the prosecco, give it a good stir, and pour. Now I always take an extra strawberry for my garnish, just so I can feel like I'm actually eating out. Slice it here and put it right on the edge of the glass. Something fancy over there. Okay.
I'll probably have more strawberries than I should, but I'm excited.
So we can taste together.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers. So
All
don't
right, so thank you.
keep those grits stirred. Add a little salt to the water also, and I will be back on with you momentarily.
So I'm going to go ahead and get my grit started.
Okay.
As we bring up Miss Lavonndra Johnson, the beauty boss. Hi, Lavonndra.
Morning. Hey, girl, I'm over here working on these grits.
I know. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'm excited to be here. This is so much fun. It's so different. I love the concept.
I'm excited to have you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. So if you watched Business Over Brunch before, then you remember Lavonndra as being our previous guest.
I couldn't quite hear you, Kima.
I'm sorry. For those who did not join us, who joined us before, you'll remember Lavonndra as one of our previous guests when we had the podcast back in 2018, 2019.
Did it freeze? Kima, are you there? There you are. You went
Can you hear
away
me?
for a second. I can hear
Yeah,
you now.
seems like I lost you for a second there. Okay, so it looks like we had a little technical difficulties. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. Well, as you guys know, my name is Lavonndra Johnson, and I own a beauty brand. It is Elle Johnson Company, and we sell skincare primarily targeted to women of color. So we are a luxury line, so it's a middle price point, and it's a comprehensive line. So we carry everything from your cleansers to moisturizers, facial scrubs, face masks, serums, oils. So the whole deal as far as it relates to your skincare. And I too am based out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, so I had to bring the Queen City with me today to get it started. So, L. Johnson Co. I am a customer. I am a fan. I love the products. The Clear 3 bundle is kind of your staple. So, tell us, like, what was your reason for starting L. Johnson Co. How did you continue on with adding on your brand?
Absolutely. Well, the two most important factors when it came to starting my skincare line is that number one, I was overwhelmed with the multi-step regimens that I was coming across. I was coming across tutorials and people doing skincare regimens that had as many as 10 steps. And I am a single working mom. I honestly don't have time for 10 steps. I wanted something that was quick, easy to the point, and still got me results. So that was the number one motivator. But then secondly, when I would come across a product, or a product line that I really liked, I felt that it didn't have the aesthetic that I wanted. I'm a vanity girl. I love my vanity. I love beautiful perfumes and beautiful beautiful beauty products. And I wanted something that I could display on my vanity and on my dresser that had that luxury appeal. And I felt like I didn't see that out there. In particular, I didn't see that out there from a Black owned business. And so those were my two motivating factors. And I just went head in and, began working with a manufacturer, began piecing together the brand identity as far as what it would look like. And maybe about a year or so later, I was ready to launch.
Awesome. I like the fact that you talked about the aesthetic. And guys, Lavondra's actually going to come back next week for a part 2. We're not going to be cooking. It's just going to be the two of us chatting. So she's going to kind of talk about, the stages that she went through, her packaging and her brand. But aesthetically, everything about Lavonndra exudes luxury. If you look on her website, if you are a customer and you see her packaging and her bottles, you're going to think that this is like one of these, skincare lines that's like priced way high, but it's not. So she was able to give you that luxury feel without that luxury price. So talk about, Lavonndra, I do want to talk about one thing that you mentioned as far as aesthetics. And, we're going to talk about us, women of color, when we launch our brand. What do you think is one of the reasons why, women of color with their brands don't go for that, don't really look too much into the packaging. They're just more concerned about the product and what it can do?
Well, I think it's two different things. On one hand, you have a lane of business and brand owners who intentionally go that route. So they make the packaging really, plain, not a lot of detail, just the standard packaging, or either like glass packaging and just, put the standard label on it. And so on one hand, in the industry, you do have somewhat of a trend where you have that minimalist approach. But I also think that oftentimes, especially as new brand owners, if you don't have any background in packaging and design, it's just a matter of getting your product out there as quickly as possible. You've come up with the formulation and now you're looking to sell. And in doing that, you just kind of go for the standard or the default packaging, or you may not have a budget allocated to custom packaging. And so I think that's probably one of the larger obstacles when it comes to packaging, is that custom packaging is definitely expensive. And when you look into, starting out with, purchasing at least 10,000 pieces minimum, it runs up very quickly. And so for that reason, I think a lot of brand owners just go with what's readily available instead of going a custom route.
That's a very good point. Cost is definitely a factor when starting a business, no matter what it is that you're doing. And I'm actually a part of the Bank of America eCornell Women's Leadership Program right now, and we are actually in that part talking about funding and having the money ready to start your business. So because you went a couple of different options with your packaging, did you always start with the custom packaging, or did you start with what was available and then evolve the brand as it grew?
I always knew I wanted custom packaging. So two things. When I started, initially, I just got what was available so that I could start giving it to some peers to get reviews. So in that sense, it wasn't per se a customized approach. It was just, let me get you some samples of the product to kind of get some feedback as we develop the line. And then when I, began to get ready to market, I had one packaging in mind, which was black. It was very slick. It was very chic, and I liked it a lot, but it didn't have that feminine quality that I wanted. And so I didn't go into production with it. I had, some of it produced, but I didn't go into mass production with it. I changed my mind. And as I, just began continuing to search, it felt like I was never finding the right thing that would click. And I stumbled upon a packaging manufacturer overseas. If you get custom packaging, I think pretty much everyone knows it's so much cheaper to get it overseas and get it imported here. So I stumbled upon a packaging manufacturer who was able to give me that look and aesthetic that I wanted, because I knew I wanted gold hardware. I love gold. So I knew I wanted that to be incorporated. But I also wanted to give my customers the experience of being able to actually see the product that they're putting on their faces. Oftentimes you get product and you're using it and you really love it, and then you get to the end of the bottle and you don't know that you're at the end of the bottle because you can't see through it, so you don't know how much of the product you've actually used. And so I wanted my customers to be able to see the product, and also another reason for that is that I wanted them to make sure that nothing is going on wrong with this product. I know we all remember like the Capri Sun fiasco, where
Yes.
kids were drinking out of the pouches and you couldn't see what they were drinking, but there was mold and all kind of stuff in there. And so I wanted to be as transparent with my customer base as possible so that they could actually see the product and see how much they've used.
Right. I definitely remember that whole Capri Sun thing. And especially as a mom with a young son at that time, I was like, what in the world? So
Right.
definitely. And I was thinking about you this morning when I was, getting ready and, doing my skincare. And I looked at the top shelf of my medicine cabinet and I was like, ooh, I get what she means. Like, it's not on the vanity, but it's in the medicine cabinet. And I just feel so luxurious when I reach for
Right.
my skincare bottles and, start, doing my regimen for the day. So we are going to, again, we're going to keep talking to Lavonndra, but she'll be back next week. So we're not going to go deep into the conversation, because next week she's going to give us some great information on branding and, starting your skincare line and what that process looked like specifically for her. So I think Chef Teshia wants to give us another step in cooking our wonderful brunch. Welcome back, Teshia.
All righty. I have to order some of her products now. She has me really excited to order.
Yes.
So your grits should be coming to a boil. How are you looking on your side?
They look good.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just start seasoning our shrimp. So what I did while you guys ladies were talking, I added black pepper. So, and I always tell people to season to your liking. So I added black pepper, a little garlic salt. Now, this is someone here locally in Charlotte. It is the Hunter's Jerk Seasoning. So any type of jerk seasoning will work just fine for your shrimp. So I sprinkled that on there also. And then you're going to add your jerk seasoning marinade. Now, add this depending on how hot you like your food. I like my food a little spicy, so I'm going to add quite a bit of it. But again, season to your liking. Don't be scared to use any of it. And if you guys have any questions or I'm talking too fast, please let me know in the comments. And make sure you stir that around really well.
We're talking. What are some quick and easy meals that you can recommend for moms like ourselves who are, on the go, kind of still navigating between working, running a household, being a teacher, some of those things that are still taking place right now?
So I am big on getting kids vegetables without realizing that they're getting them. So something that my son has grown to really like is the vegetable lasagna. What I do for him, I do add a little turkey meat inside of it, but I still cook it with all the vegetables, the broccoli, the zucchini. It takes me about 30, 45 minutes to make. It's quick, easy, throw it in the oven and you can forget about it. And you gotta love a crock pot. So chicken tacos are really easy in the crock pot. I tell people to definitely keep that in rotation. Now with your grits boiling, we're gonna also add in that half and half. And you're gonna do about a third of a cup of that. That's gonna give it that creaminess that you get when you go to restaurants. Now, Shakeema, how are you adjusting to cooking and managing business and everything?
So the good thing for me is that right now we're all working from home. So myself, my husband, my son. So my husband kind of takes care of lunch because Caleb, my son, will kind of ask him for certain things and he'll go get it. Dinner is where I, kind of manage. What's difficult for me right now is that I'm actually on a different I don't want to say diet, but a different eating habit. I started the Daniel fast with my family back in February, and I actually have transitioned into being pescatarian. So where they still eat like the chicken and beef and different things like that. That's where I kind of struggle with making two different meals, or having to cook a full meal for them, and then substituting something for myself. But other than that, it's gotten a lot easier. What I do wish is that I could get some assistance with some of these groceries, because this child eats me out of house and home. But it's become a lot easier to manage as we've gotten used to being where we are right now.
Gotcha. I forgot that you did tell me you went pescatarian. Oh,
Yeah.
and another thing, please feel free, if you are pescatarian and you do not use chicken broth, you can use seafood stock, seafood broth. They sell that at the grocery store too. You can substitute there. You can even use vegetable broth if you would like to. How are your grits looking, Shakeema?
They look really creamy now.
All right, perfect. So don't forget to add about a half a stick of butter in there, salt and pepper.
Everyone, if you are at home, please make sure and you're cooking with us, make sure that you're following along in the comments. If you have any questions, we can see them. When you're done, please take pictures, because I do want to on one of the gift boxes that we have with some items that we've gotten sponsored for our guests. So you're here with us. We want you to have a good day with it, have fun. And we are finishing up with the grits, right?
Yes.
Or kind of bringing the grits to an end. And now we're with the shrimp. So I'll let Chef Teshia walk us through the next steps.
Now, the last step for the grits is to go ahead and add in that cheddar cheese. That is, again, something you can do to your liking. I am doing about a third of a cup also for mine.
And I do like cheesy grits, so I'm probably going to put a lot in. This is one of the things that I was missing. I didn't realize how much I like cheese when we were doing the Daniel fast, because you can't have dairy. So when that was over, I was like, let me go get some cheese snacks or something.
I actually went vegan I did the 28-day vegan challenge. And on day about 21, cheese is what took me under. So now that we have those grits all ready to go, we're going to add about a half a stick of butter into a saucepan. We're going to go ahead and make the gravy for our shrimp and grits. Now I kind of stepped ahead of you guys, and I have already chopped my tri-peppers and my garlic and my red onion. So you're going to finely chop all three of those. Now, does anyone have any questions in the comments as far as any substitutions that they can do, or? Shakeema, how you looking over there?
They're pretty good.
Okay. Now, once your butter is melted in the pan, we're going to go ahead and add in the minced garlic. Don't forget to keep those grits stirred. And with the peppers, you can chop up about one of each color. And it also depends on how much you're making, how much shrimp and grits that you're making. But I normally use one of each color if I'm making for my whole household, which would be 3 to 4. And then if I'm just making it for myself, I normally chop up a half of each one. That was a good question. So now that that garlic is smelling lovely, we're gonna go ahead and add in those peppers and onions and just let those saute.
Now, I typically am not a big pepper person. So, yeah, when I transitioned, I started eating different things that I didn't normally eat. So, I was really surprised at the fact that green peppers didn't gross me out as much as they normally do. Now, these red and yellow and orange peppers, I don't know how we're going to do with that today, but I'm in it. I'm in it.
I like them a lot better than the green peppers. It gives a sweetness that the green pepper doesn't. So I think you're gonna actually like it in this dish. All right, so we're letting that saute, keeping an eye on our grits so they don't stick. Our shrimp is smelling pretty good over here. Now, Shakeema, do you like Jamaican food?
Yeah.
I know the spice level can be a lot for some people.
Yeah, I actually have a little Caribbean blood in me. My mom was from Trinidad. I wasn't necessarily raised in the culture, but because of that, I do have a little bit of tolerance for some, spices that.
So I'm gonna tilt the camera to give you guys a view of what my pickles are looking like. We got them salted in here. And it is at this point that I am going to bring the grits in. I'm sorry, bring the shrimp in and let them cook for about 2 minutes. And I know a lot of people don't use butter. So instead of butter, you can use any butter substitute and it will work just fine. So don't be afraid to not try the recipe just if you don't use butter. And this is what my grits look like as of right. I'm sorry, my shrimp looks like as of right now. Be able to see the seasoning for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in there.
I'm interested to find out how everyone's doing out there. We had a question: what oil can I use instead of butter?
Oh yeah, I told them to use any butter substitute. You can also use olive oil. Just be very careful. Olive oil has a tendency to cook a little fast. So just be careful when cooking it with olive oil.
And also, Country Crock has a plant butter. I actually started using that before I transitioned. I've been using that for about a year. They have one with avocado oil and one with olive oil.
Now, which one do you like better, the avocado oil?
Yeah, I actually like the avocado oil better. I just use I like the avocado oil better but they didn't have it this time, so I used the olive oil, and it seems to be about the same. So it's not too buttery. It doesn't give you like that heavy taste that butter might give you.
Hmm. Now your grits should be just about done. So make sure you keep an eye on those. Now we're not going to cook this all the way done. We're going to get it about right there. Is that a good view for you, ladies? Let me know if you can see it in the comments. So it's not completely pink. And the reason we're taking it off is because now we're going to add in that chicken broth. And we don't want to overcook our shrimp. Shrimp is the one thing I hate when people overcook.
So I'm like a step behind, and I'm getting caught up.
I'm going to slow it down for you then.
Oh no, you're fine. How's everybody doing out there? We want to make sure that you're cooking along and having a good time. Thank you guys again for joining. I do want to highlight a couple of the sponsors. Um, Somebody said, "How do you cut that pretty?" Is that the shrimp that you're asking about?
It might be the peppers. And this is probably going to be a better view of the shrimp and where I took it off at.
So is that the shrimp mixed in with the peppers, and you're taking it out to add the chicken broth?
Mm-hmm. I left a few peppers and a lot of the seasoning there. Because it's really, once the chicken broth is added, you're really going to get that flavor that you need. Did you use seafood stock, correct?
I use vegetable stock.
Okay. Oh, hi, Callie. So Callie's a little behind. Take your time. I will go over anything that you ladies need me to recap. So I've added in that chicken broth. I'm going to give y'all a trick. Anytime when adding flour to anything, I do not like just mixing my flour right into my pan because I don't like lumps at all. So I will put a little flour into a bowl, add the chicken broth, and then mix it really well until all the lumps are gone. So I'm going to show you ladies how to do that now. And you don't have to add much flour because the flour will thicken this up really quickly. So a little. I'm going to use about a tablespoon and a half. And then we're literally just going to whisk it like you would whisk an egg, just like this, until all the lumps are out of the flour and the mixture here. And in the comments, if you did not get the cocktail, I'm going to go ahead and give that to someone again, just in case they want to remake it or they missed it at first. What we did was we mashed up fresh strawberries, added in pineapple juice, and topped it off with a little Prosecco. gave it a shake, and that was our cocktail for today. And I call that my red mimosa. I actually chose that one because of Shakeema's branding company. so, so this is actually coming together. The mixture is coming together good. I'm gonna go ahead and pour mine in and just make sure that even while it's going in, I'm still stirring. I'm watching. I was not prepared. This also. Well, next time, Miss Jones, we definitely can have you on there and make sure we have the full menu to you. And the good thing about this, you don't have to over season because the jerk seasoning, it carries so much weight that you don't have to add much. Shakeema, how are you on your flour mixture?
Pretty good.
Okay. Just keep that stirred. We're gonna let that come to a boil, add our shrimp back in, and it's time for plating after that. Hey, you back. How's everything coming for you?
Going good. I'm keeping up.
Is it smelling good over there?
Yeah, it's flowing. So I'm working on my flour.
Okay.
So we have Lavonndra back on the screen. So I want to ask a question about food and skincare. Are you one of those people who really watch what you take in because of your skin, or do you just have your skincare regimen, or is there a balance between the two?
There has to be a balance, because I don't care how great my regimen is. If my eating is off and I'm like eating all the stuff I'm not supposed to, it shows on my skin. So for me, it's sugar and dairy that really mess me up. So I have to be a little bit more careful of my intake of those things, which those are the things that I love because I love candy. Um, I don't eat a lot of chocolate, but I still eat a lot of sweets with the candy. So I have to be very careful of that. I also have to be careful of dairy, which I don't eat cheese, but I love milk. So there definitely has to be a balance because you have to monitor not only what you put on your body, but also what you put inside of your body. So it makes a definite difference.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. I didn't always do the balance between the two, but I drink a lot of water, and I can tell when my water intake is low because I start seeing like changes in my skin, and with my hair, I start having really bad dry scalp. So water is a definite must with any part of the regimen.
Yeah, you can't cheat the system, or you can try, but it'll show. But now, of course, since we've been in quarantine, I've probably been eating and doing a lot of things I shouldn't do because I don't have to worry about anybody seeing me. But now that things are opening back up, I'm like, I got to get this together. So
Right.
it makes the difference.
I think that's all of us right now. Like, I got to get it back together.
Right.
Now, because I tell everyone to season to their liking, you can go ahead and taste your broth for your gravy. Make sure it's seasoned to your liking, not too spicy. I want a little bit more spice, so I added a little bit more of the jerk seasoning.
Okay.
And keep in mind, the seasoning from the shrimp will be added once you add that back in there. Any bourbon drink recipes? Off the top of my head, I like bourbon with anything apple. Um, so I would do like an apple base and add bourbon and finish it with honey. Give it a really strong mix. Another one I know off the top of my head. I'm gonna give mine one last taste. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the shrimp back in. So a little under a minute. And we're going to plate together, ladies. All right. I'll give you guys another minute of my gravy. Are you ladies ready to plate or almost there?
Yeah, I believe so.
You can turn those your gravy down to a simmer just so it doesn't overcook that shrimp for you.
I think I'm almost ready to plate. So before we do that, I do want to show some of the things that will be in the gift bags for our guests. We have Blue Fern. I don't know if you can see that really well. It is a vegan skincare product. This is the oil cleanser. We have Mom Remedy. This is actually a cleanser for your home. It's hydrogen peroxide based, non-toxic and safe, and it's a biodegradable formula. And this is the linen scent. We also have a Himalayan charcoal mask from the Body Shop by Mona. She's a body shop that sent us some wonderful products. And we have a cuticle nail oil and a oatmeal soap, Epsom salt from Joy of Beauty. This one is specifically for the ladies. This is called Panty Buddy, which I thought this was a really interesting concept. So it's, of course, a pandemic. We want to stay germ-free. This has toilet paper and seat covers in it, and you can just fold it up and put it in your purse. So if you have to go anywhere and use a public restroom, you don't have to touch their toilet paper or their seat cover because you already have it in there. And you can, it also has other little slots for like your other feminine items, or if you want to disguise it as a little wallet, you can do that as well. So this is really cute. And she also has where you can order the already protected refills on her website. So everyone who is a part of Brunch, Business Over Brunch will get a gift box with these items and some more that will be added. And again, today we do want to giveaway of a gift box for someone. So if you have been following along with us, thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. If you're cooking, make sure you take pictures and tag us. If you're tagging us on Instagram, please tag at Brunch with Brands. You can also use the hashtag Biz Over Brunch Podcast. That's BIZ Over Brunch Podcast. And you can also tag my business page, which is Maddie Clay Branding and PR. On Instagram is at Maddie Clay DPR. So this has been so much fun. I think I am ready to plate and dig in.
All right, let's go ahead.
How you doing over there, Lavonndra? Are you ready to plate?
Yeah, I'm good. I got my grits on the plate, so I'm good. I'm getting my shrimp together.
Okay. Now, did you taste your gravy already? Was it seasoned to your liking?
Girl, me and that gravy, we weren't working out. It was too thick. You know, like you said before, I didn't start out whisking mine in the bowl. And so I should have done that because I hate the clumps too. So I'm going to go back and rework it a little later on, but I'm good for now.
I was going to say, that's the easy fix. All you have to do is add some more chicken broth.
Okay. I'll do that.
Look, I've done it a million times. That's actually how I learned the trick of adding the flour to the side first.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing, because even, I watch my relatives, my aunts, and even my dad, he makes all of his gravy and everything from scratch, and it comes out perfect all the time. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why do my gravy look like grits?
That's years of training. Years of training.
Yes, it is. And he doesn't measure anything. He just knows.
Now that's something that I can say. Every cook that I know, they're like, "Oh, I don't measure. I don't know what to tell you."
Right.
It drives me crazy, but I do it now too. So.
And I'm the same way. I'm scared of cooking gravy for that reason. So if it has to have a gravy, 9 times out of 10, I don't cook it. So I learned something today. So this is my finished product. It's not probably as pretty as Chef Teshia's. And my gravy on my grits.
Oh, that looks good.
My shrimp.
Shakeema. I am plating for a whole household. That's why I've been holding off. I'm gonna do a small bowl and then.
I didn't do my gravy yet, but I do have my shrimp. It looks.
Oh, yours looks good.
It smells so good. And I'm usually not a peppers type girl, but it all seems to blend really well.
I love to see people willing to try new things. That makes me feel a whole lot better because I know people like peppers.
Yes, it's good.
So this has been so amazing. I do want to thank my guests, Chef Teshia and Lavonndra, for being here for the relaunch of Business Over Brunch. I want to thank you all out there who watched. If you have any questions after this is over, please feel free to ask questions. Also, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page. This is where our podcast will post each week. So I'm very excited about that. Business Over Brunch Podcast on YouTube. Thank you again to our sponsors for the information for the products that you place in our gift box for our guests. This has been so amazing, and I'm super excited. You can also connect with me on all social media at Maddie Clay BPR. And I definitely want to thank my crew behind the scenes, my best friend from college, Adrian Streeter, who thank you so much for being obedient. Inside joke for us. And thank you to my production intern, Elle Jeffrey. So you guys rock. So thank you all again. This has been Business Over Brunch. We'll be back next week live with Lavonndra Johnson, the beauty boss. She's going to give us some information on building your brand as a skincare or a beauty brand, what that process looks like for her, and the evolution of her packaging, so you can kind of get an idea of how it started and how it's going. Chef Teshia, tell us what you got going on.
And so right now, as I said before, just private dining, catering. I will be launching a marinade line in May. So that's what I've been working on, praying over. But I want to thank you, Shakeema, for allowing me to invade your your space with my idea. It was really fun, ladies.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it.
And congratulations. And I know we're going to talk to you next week, Lavonndra, but tell us what you have going on right now.
Right now, just continuing to build the brand. Mother's Day is coming up, so be on the lookout for a new bundle just for Mother's Day. We also have, I believe, 2 new product launches coming up, so I'm super, super excited about that. So hopefully I can share some more information about that on next weekend. And then we're looking to get the cosmetics portion of the line really going, which is Copper Beauty. We launched that as a separate standalone brand. So I'll be able to share some more information about that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much again for joining me. We are going to close out the relaunch. It's been a success. Let's do a quick toast to the camera. Yes. Cheers to everyone. This is truly 2021, the year that we are all going to win. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.